So let me guess, you are 40 plus running a business and you're feeling like you can no longer have the energy you had in your 20 something years. And so it's hard for you to use the business model of showing up live, doing masterclasses, or maybe even challenges, or doing 3 posts a day that the gurus tell you to do in order to make money. Now you're wondering, what can I do if I can't show up live? How am I going to remain consistently relevant and be in demand and be paid? Hey, it's your girl Sherri Somers Bell, and if you've ever wondered that before, this is the video for you. Welcome to my world. So I recently had that same type of situation where my nervous system was telling me the way I was functioning, the way my business operate would not sustain for a longer growth. So I myself had to shift. Matter of fact, I shift from high ticket to selling low ticket because of that exact reason. And it was the best decision I ever had. Now, in this video, I want to talk about what do I mean about your nervous system. I believe that when you're, as an entrepreneur, when you're running a business, your business is run purely on a spiritual being. Now, before you think I'm getting witchy in here, before you think I'm getting a little cuckoo, a delulu, I do have delulu moments, but I want to share this with you. I want to have this conversation with you because for a long time, we think strategy and tactics is what makes sales. And so we would follow the strategy and tactics that our coach says or our mentor says. And then when we don't get the same results, we get disappointed thinking something's wrong with us, something's wrong with our business, something's wrong with us as personal. But I'm here to tell you, you are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you at all. What could have happened, what I'm sure 90% of what it is you're approaching a business model that is not aligned with who you are in the season in your life. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's go there. And what I mean by that is not saying that there was system that the model that someone taught you is not working. It's just saying it's not fit for you specifically in this moment. So when I first started off, I started off going live 360 days for the year using the iPhone 6. If you have my book, The Challenge Code, you know all about how I started my business. So in that space, that was a time of what's needed at that time. Like I didn't have ad spend money. I didn't have the time that I had time, but I didn't have the ad spend money to be put myself out there. So I had to do with what work. And more importantly, I also had the energy to do it then. I had just had my son and I was just stepping in the world. So that was umpteen years ago. I started off in 2016. So if you ask me to start over today in the same capacity, it probably wouldn't work for me right now. Doesn't mean the strategy doesn't work for a younger person or a person who's just starting out a business. Of course it does. And I highly recommend that strategy. Matter of fact, in my book, The Challenge Codes, we talk about hosting challenges, whether you're doing it live or whether you're doing it evergreen. But the idea here is as you evolve and as you scale your business, the goal is to look for a system that can create money and print money and make you more higher in demand without you physically all the time has to be live all the time. But after having surgery and having to heal from my surgery, it really opened up a whole light bulb of the way I look at business. Like if you are the operator of your business and your business can't function without you, it really going to change the way you see things and the way you believe things. And that's why for me, I had to start going to selling digital products, because digital products is one of that space where you can go to, where you can create a mini course one time. You can craft that course with your expertise and put your expertise inside of that course and give somebody a transformation, a quick, fast transformation in their lives. And you don't physically have to be around. And I think, and since then, shifting to selling low ticket offer, these micro offers that help people to create messages that help people to self-select themselves. That's one of the things we do in our buyer rated messaging matrix. Had I not discovered that, had I not discovered low ticket products and digital products, I don't know if my business would have the ability to sustain. Now, does that mean that challenges, all the things I've been saying, doesn't work? Not at all. Matter of fact, we are working to where we actually put our challenge on a like an evergreen system. And we're also working to where we're still running challenges live, but we're not doing it once a month like we used to do it. So there's a big difference, there's a big change. And I think if you're an introvert, you will also love this too. Because I get a lot of introvert when we talk about marketing their business and showing up. They're like, if you're asking me to show up consistently, I don't think I can do that consistently going posting on Instagram all day. And I can't either, introvert or not. But this new model, this new way of doing things where you're able to create something. For example, let me give it, right now I have some ads running on Instagram. Those ads, I hate to say this, they were created at the time recording this. This is March 12th, 2026, right? Those ads were created January 28th, January 28th, 2026. So I have not touched the ads, and they're just out there still making me sales daily. So we're in a world where your energy, where we are believing, we're shifting from believing that you have to be physically on to make money. I just came back from a cruise with my husband on Carnival. That's a whole other part. Don't recommend Carnival. That's a whole lot of drama. But the what I'm over there and they're doing the getting away party, the party that they do when the boat sails away, and I'm here just having me a good old time, and I'm hearing ding and notifications coming in while I'm getting ready to cruise to the Bahamas, and I'm in another country. I'm getting ready to go into another country. So that moment when that is happening, that truly woke me up and let me realize that there's a way that you can impact people's life by teaching them a solution to the problem that they're going through. You have a solution to a painkiller problem that someone have, and you can put it out there in the world to help impact and transfer their life, and you don't always have to be the person that show up to do that. I was listening to a pastor, and he had a ceremony, and the pastor was talking about how sometimes we don't know the difference between caring somebody and caring for somebody. And I think for a long time, we feel like we need to show up live because we need to carry that person to the finish line. We need to carry them. And if we don't show up, they're not going to get the success. You're not going to get the transformation, as if they're relying on our way of carrying it. And I had to shift that in my business. I also had to shift that in just even the way I coaching. So I would show up weekly for my coaching program. And I realized I did not need to show weekly for my clients to get success, because truth of the matter is my clients would have a conversation with me, and then they need time to impact what was told to them and to process what was told to them, and then come back after taking action and then telling us the results. And that took time. So shifting our coaching program from seeing my client once a week to seeing the second and fourth Monday, that's how we do it now in our coaching program. That has worked out for us because they have enough time to process what was told and taking action in their business. But all of this stem from moving to digital products. All of this stem from me testing the system and believing that I can care for people without physically carrying them to the finish line. And when we stop kind of playing God in our business, stop feeling like we have to a person transformation is on us, when truth of the matter is that they're the one with the problem. They're the one that got to carry the burden. Now we can hold faith with them as they hold faith for themselves, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to get themselves to the finish line. So that will relieve some of our nervous system and just give us a calmer nervous system that just calm our minds down a little bit, and bring us back into the reality of what we're here for. We're here to care. We're not here to carry. And when we take on other people's burden and trying to carry them to the finish line, and we weren't built for that, only person can carry people is God, not us. Right? As coaches, as consultant, as expert, we put the burden of if somebody don't succeed, that's on us. Let me tell you something. I can show you a plethora of clients who work with me and have got success. I have the testimonials to prove that, but but all of that success was based on them taking action and kept taking action even in the eyes of adversity. So, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all of this because if you ever feel as if you're working a business model that is just not equipped for where you are mentally, physically, health-wise, it's okay. I'm giving you permission to shift. I'm giving you permission to open the door for you to say, "Hey, this is not aligned with my capacity. This is not aligned with my energy, and I keep feeling like I have to keep doing this in order to make money." I have a girlfriend of mine who's super amazing at what she does. And when we talk about the end of the day, how what her launch looked like, and even though her launch is successful, sometimes the work that she has to do to make it just seems so overwhelmed to me. And I'm like, this is why I'm in the digital space, because the digital space allow you to still put your words, still put your message in, still put that message out there and hit that buyer ready person, and they still he self-select themselves and say, hey, you're talking to me, and they decide to come in. There's no sales, there's no 20-day launches, none of that stuff that would mess your nervous system from getting the end results. Now, I know some people argue with me like live, the conversion is better, and be that it may, but for who? Right? The conversion is better for showing up live, but for who? Yes, you may have gotten the results financially, but what did it cost you to get that? So, what is the solution, Sherri? I'm glad that you asked. What is the solution? So, for me, I started looking at ways I can make money without physically always being on. And one way of that, as I changed to my handy dandy iPad, one way of that, I started looking at all the different assets that is given to me to where I can actually make revenue. Let me slide over here with my squeaky chair. Okay. So one of the ways I said, okay, so what is that thing that I can do? Well, the first thing I did, let me tell you, one of the things I did was I wrote my book. So my book, so a book is a digital product. So a book is a digital product because you make it once, people read it over and over, and you still get paid, and you don't physically have to be present. So my book became that digital thing, digital asset that I created, that Amazon send me a check, or sometimes people just go on my Lead Challenge Code website and they get the book themselves. So the book became a digital asset. Another thing that I did is I have a buyer ready mini course, and the buyer ready mini course is another digital asset that I create that teaches you how to speak to buyer and get them to say yes within 72 hours. And they now become repeated buyers from you, and have them self-select and say, hey, yeah, I'm talking to you. You know, it's like those hand raisers. So the buyer ready system is out there. And then, so you have the book, you have the buyer ready system. And then I create a membership program, and you can, and all I'm saying is what I did, but the goal of me telling you what I did is for you to see yourself and say, hey, maybe this is something I want to do. So the membership is that continuity offer that I can help my clients create this. I create this system themselves. So you created a membership program, give you that continuity, money over and over, monthly revenue that's driving in your business. And number four, we also create a offer, which, and in this offer we teach you how to we teach you how to make your first $1,000 offer. So your 100K offer. your that's 100K offer. I love that. Your $1,000 offer. Excuse me, your $1,000 offer. So we create an offer for you that consistently bring in $1,000, right? And that's like your ascension offer. That's like your ascension. So these assets are what I call digital asset. Now, all of this we did not do all at the same time. No, we would have been crazy to be able to do all of this. But what I realize is these products will and can continuously sell without me. They're out there in the digital space, the online world. They sell without me. And how they're able to sell is so these digital products, they're digital, so their people can access them at any given time. One of the ladies just told me about after she read my book, and my book was talking about how fear she has a fear of showing up. And when she read my book, there's a part in my book, shameless plug, where I talk about fear stops when you start taking action. That's when that subdues the fear of the thing. And she's like, man, that one line just kind of like really got to me, like, hey, the only reason I'm having fear is because I'm not taking action. So if I take action with the fear, it lowers the fear because the action becomes normal. The thing I'm doing becomes normal. And she was like, wow, that was an eye opener for her. So the digital asset, the product itself, don't need me because it's already produced. And then the thing now is like, well, how do I market this? How do I market this so people can get to this? How do I market this thing? Put it here. How do I market? Because in order for me to sell this, I have to market. So how I did that is I started taking on the same concept, as in, now that I have the digital product that can sell without me, whether I'm on a cruise in a carnival, going on Bahamas, or whether I'm spending time in Jamaica, or whether there are days that I'm losing my voice and can't speak, can't show up, or days I just don't have the energy or the capacity to show up because it's just what it is, right? It's just what it is, or hormones and everything that goes along with being a woman and all the stuff. So how do I do that? I look for things that complement my nervous system when it comes to marketing. So what most people do is they hear people say, "Oh, post 2 times a day on IG." So they're like, "Oh, I need to post 2 times, or matter of fact, 3 times a day on IG." And so that means you have constantly put posts out there on IG. Well, for me, I know I'm not going to do that. So that's a no-no to me, because if that interrupt my nervous system. So you will see a video for me when I get a download from God and I say, "Oh, I want to talk about this." My thoughts go into something, but that's not going to work for me. It just won't work for me. I'm talking to one of my girlfriends yesterday, and she's a heavy introvert. She's very introverted. And I was telling her a marketing strategy that she could use, and she's like, "Sherri, thank you for that, but that's not my personality. That's not who I am. That won't work for me." She says, not that it didn't work, it just, I won't sustain that type of marketing style because that's not who I am. I Getting on video talking, that's not who I am. But what I can do, I can create a lead magnet, which is a faceless marketing thing, and I can drive people to my lead magnet. Boom. So you see what I'm saying? So I was intrigued, and I was happy that she realized quickly that who she is and the space that she's in that time. So for me, what I look for is not about does the thing work or not. I also look for how long will this thing last for me. So for me, it is number one, when I talk about marketing my business to get to these digital assets, it's YouTube. Because again, YouTube will keep showing your videos when you're no longer on. So it makes 100% of sense to use a marketing tool or platform that will keep showing your videos for you, right? So YouTube is one of them, and ads. YouTube and ads. And of course, my three is my email list. So these, I want to also say this as an added bonus. I have a podcast that I use, but my pod, and I maybe didn't even have to put on here, but my podcast is like my bonus, because this is like something I like to do. It's not required, but I like to be transparent when I'm talking. So this level right here to market these product, I technically only have three ways that I market it: my YouTube channel, ads, or email list. That's it. That is all I use to market my business. I don't over. And why am I using this? Because YouTube is as a platform that an asset is going to build over time. Of course, ads get you there super fast, and my email list belongs to me. So it makes sense to use what's in my hands. And when it comes to the podcast, sometimes I just love, being able to reach my audience immediately and don't have to wait, don't have to create different things. But if you look at the way how I'm growing my business, I'm growing my business based on for a long term, right? Because YouTube videos will stay on. So I'm looking at growing my business for a lifetime. I'm looking for a lifetime value, and I'm not looking for just these marketing thing where I got to keep feeding the algorithms over and over. That's why I'm not fond of IG, and I'm just sticking to what work. I'm just sticking to what work. If the platform allow longevity, and I'm not having to dance with the algorithms or the algorithm, the IG gods. That's what I call them. IG algorithms gods. I don't have to worry about that. I just stick to what working for me right now. YouTube is working, and my email list is working. Ads is still even optional for me, because sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. But these main things, I would say these are the must. My email address and my email and YouTube are the must for me, because my podcast is my bonus. Sometimes God just give me downloads and I want to share it with you, and I just kind of go share it. But so if you're looking at how do I with my capacity, with my time, how do I maintain this? How do I keep this going for longevity with the energy that I have? Because sometimes I just don't have the energy to show up. I would highly recommend that you create a digital product that you can make once, and when you make that product that can help and impact people's life and solve that pain problem that person have, I would highly recommend the way you market it, just like you're in the mindset of creating something and having it out there in the world. I would highly recommend that you choose one of these, of what I just said: a YouTube, email list, or ads. And if your email list is not big, then therefore that encourage you more to either go to YouTube or you go to the ad space of doing that. There's just no way around that. But you should choose your marketing for your digital product based solely on what is going to give the long algorithms longevity, not just something that you put up today and it's gone tomorrow. I and I wish I had thought of that. I would have been more in depth into it, or more, more. But hey, we can't change the past. But this is what I highly recommend for you. And then when I start doing that, here is what happened when I switched to doing this. When I moved to this, can I go up? Yeah, I can go up. Okay. So when I moved to creating step one, here's the beautiful thing about this. Step two, here is this. All right. So now let's look at this. When I do this, here's the outcome. Outcome. One, daily sales. So I went from cash injections of just making sales per month to making sales daily. So daily sales. Number two, daily leads coming in my email list every day, and bigger outreach. In other words, using this strategy, I'm able to, my message able to go out, because that's the key word right there, is the messaging. My message is reach more people. So bigger outreach. I can spread the message of what I do, who I do it for, the problem I solve. I can spread it out better. I'm more, and so pretty much bigger impact. And more importantly than anything else, a regulated nervous system. System. Okay? Regulated nervous system. So the outcome is so big for me, like right here. The outcome of me being able to do that, that's the payoff. The payoff of still being present to go to soccer with my son like I did yesterday. And the outcome is when someone get on my email list and they reply back to something I sent them, I have the time to reply. I have the time to actually reply to them and don't feel overwhelmed because somebody replied to me, right? So I have the time to reply, um, and really get to know the person on a deeper level because I have time on my side. I have time back on my side. So I would highly recommend, because the outcome is so worth it, to shift your business model to where your words and your solution is going out there in the world without your irregular nervous system getting impacted. All right, if you found this helpful, I want you to comment below your feedback of what you think about what I just said. If this is a new way of you thinking about marketing your business, I would love to hear more of that too. Make sure you subscribe and follow and all that jazz, and I see you in our next video.